All right, everyone, as we go into the weekend, we do have a slurry of new polls, mainly from NPR, PBS, and Marists working together. They don't really make a whole lot of sense. I'm going to go through some of this verbatim and try to do a little bit of analysis because the numbers that I'm seeing don't really seem to match up to reality. General election, Trump v. Biden. Biden ahead by 2. Oh, interesting. So you've dragged the aggregate up a little bit. But in a five-way race, it's Trump plus 1. Interestingly, they then chose to poll for something else that other polling firms generally aren't polling for because Biden is self-evidently going to be the nominee of the Democratic Party. He's said he's not dropping out. He's done this repeatedly. He's being stubborn about it. General election, Trump v. Harris. Somehow Harris wins in that one by a point. I highly doubt that. I don't think that you would have that happen. Newsom is included, despite the fact that he has disavowed the concept of running, just as Harris has. Plus 2 for Newsom. In a general election matchup between Trump and Whitmer, though, it's a tie. So, that would be a real nail-biter if you're versus Gretchen Whitmer. In general election, Trump v. Biden for Rasmussen, Trump plus 6. I think these numbers are probably a little bit more sane. In a five-way, it's also plus 6. Wisconsin plus 2. Also in a five-way, Trump v. Harris plus 1. Again, why is American greatness and why is NPR and PBS, why are you polling for people that self-evidently aren't running? They've all said you might as well poll Michelle Obama v. Donald Trump or something like that. She's not running. Kamala's standing behind her man. Newsom has stood down. Whitmer has stood down. I don't get it. I literally don't understand some of the numbers that I'm seeing because they shouldn't be polled for at all. What I really want is let's say state of Virginia polling. What's the matchup there looking like right now? Maybe Maine, maybe Minnesota, places that are actually of import. That shouldn't really be on the table, by the way, but Biden has fucked up so badly that he can't help it. Now, that's just the long and short of it. That Joe Biden has managed to really plunge his political ambitions into the shitter at the moment. The problem, though, is that the polling firms are all over the place. First, we have to look at the difference between Trump v. Biden and then Trump v. Biden v. Stein v. Cornel West v. RFK Jr. There's a differential there. And so that adds, I think it'll be somewhere in the middle of those two aggregates in the end, as some of the third-party support dries up right before Election Day. Because there will be some people that are like, well, I really don't like either of the candidates, but I like this one a lot less, and my guy can't win, so they cast a ballot for the lesser of two evils. That's number one. Number two, we still have no reliable polling for half of the swing states. We've got plenty of things from Nevada. You get a lot of polling from Georgia, which is basically off the table for the Dems. And North Carolina, similarly. Probably Nevada at this point. By the way, that gets you past 250 right there. So, again, the election is going in one direction, I think. And not the band, thankfully. But we don't have any reliable Minnesota polling. We have little from Virginia. I mean, you've got some from New Hampshire, but really only one recent poll. And then you got nothing from Maine. Absolutely butt-fuck nothing. According to internal polling within the state, which is not aggregated, it's basically a 50-50 deal in the state of Maine. Or it was before the debate performance. Hell, if it's tilted a few points in the other direction, Trump probably has an advantage in Maine right now. Stephen King, by the way, would literally start chewing his books apart and throwing them around the room in a blind rage if that were to happen. Can you imagine Trump wins his home state? Oh, he'd be so mad. Stephen King's reaction would be legendary, even in hell. It'd be hilarious. Stephen King's house burned down today after he tried to light himself on fire in a blind rage. He threatens to write a novel about it afterwards, by the way. No, these polls are insane. Why are you polling for these things? Whitmer has stood down. Newsom has stood down. Michelle Obama ain't doing jack shit. Kamala Harris is the VP. She's the running mate. There's not going to be a dropping out of Joe Biden unless he's outright forced to do so. He's not willing to go. There are methods by which you can force him out, but then you probably cede several states in the process, which would also be batshit. It'd be almost as crazy as Joe Biden himself. I don't get why you're therefore bothering to poll for things that are not going to happen. They're not part of reality. At least wait, I mean, maybe there's a 1% chance that something happens. Joe Biden conks out tomorrow and you have to replace him because of necessity, because he can't run. You know, the Democrats are allowed to vote if they're dead, but they're not allowed to run for office if they're dead. Sometimes a dog is elected mayor, but usually not a corpse, for example. That's fine. Wait until it actually happens instead of pretending that it's already a foregone conclusion and that there's some sort of primary challenge to Joe Biden. We know who the presumptive nominees are. Trump just cleared all of the delegates from Nikki Haley, so he's no longer got any meaningful competition. I mean, or really any competition, not even unmeaningful competition. Joe Biden swears that he's staying in. There's no indicator, he's still going to rallies and raising money. There's no indicator that he intends to stand down. You can force him out maybe at the convention. I'm sure there will be protests. I'm sure there will be some far leftists that show up and boo him. I'm sure there will be some far leftist members of like Congress and shit that don't go to the convention at all. It will be chaotic. It is going to be a bit of a freak show. By the way, I can't wait to see it. But that being said, there's currently no indicator of any will on Joe Biden's part, and he is your incumbent. You chose to vote for him, stupidly, but you chose to do that. There's no indicator that he's going to say, oh, come on, man, I'm tired. The people have spoken. I've decided to stand aside. He's a blind, narcissistic egotist. He doesn't want to step aside. He, in his mind, still thinks it's 1980 and he's a powerful senator and a middle-aged dude who will really take you out behind the woodshed and do push-ups, probably on Ashley Biden. That's what he believes. That's the way that he operates. I mean, Trump's an egotist too. You think that there was any real possibility that he would stand down? It was always a foregone conclusion that he was going to run again. Everyone fucking knew it. People pretended like it wasn't going to happen, or that there was some methodology by which he could be defeated. Basically, you're stuck between a cock and a hard place if you're a Democrat right now. Biden stands down, you lose. Biden runs, you lose too, probably. So, yeah, I hate to tell you, but you're in some troubled waters at the moment. Again, Biden's ship of state has no tiller, but somehow the alternatives are all worse, and for some reason they're beginning to poll for them, even though he has declared, and politicians don't normally make declarative statements. He has stated outright, explicitly, and declared, no legalese or anything like that, I am running. And we're going to beat Orange Man and all that other bravado bullshit. I don't think you're going to win, but, you know, at least with Joe Biden, you've got the incumbent advantage. He might be demented. I mean, why don't you just put him in the back room and not allow him to make rallies or anything like that? Just have dinners to raise money and have his proxies, his surrogates go out. Why don't you just sort of disappear him from the race and have everyone else basically doing it on his behalf, since quite clearly he's going to stand down once he's reelected. He's not going to finish out a second term. Everyone fucking knows this. It'll be Kamala Harris that you're voting for effectively. That's about all. Peace out.